Now, Ask Dr. Love with psychotherapist, author, love and relationship expert Jamie Turndorf, Ph.D. For expert advice on love and relationships, call into the show at 888-463-6748. That's 888-GO-FOR-IT. Or you can submit your question online at AskDrLove.com. Now, here's Dr. Love.
Hello again and welcome back to Ask Dr. Love Radio. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf and it's my pleasure to be with you on Ask Dr. Love Radio. Today's show I'm calling It's Your Fault That You're Fault. And I have a guest with me today. He's New York City Based Dating Coach, Mr. Locario. He's also a rap singer. We're going to get into that. And he said, having a positive outlook is the key to finding love. So let me introduce you without further ado to Mr. Locario. Are you there?
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
I hear you fine. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you perfect.
All righty. So tell me, how'd you get to be a dating coach, dude?
Well, basically, I'm also an actor, and I rap on the side a little bit, but I really wanted to do something that I can do personally to help people, and I've always liked to help people just with anything, you know what I mean? Even if it was like helping somebody change a tire, I like to help them. So I was like, what else am I good at that I can help other people with? And I was always like a serial dater. Like I was always dating girls and talking to girls, and I was always good at it. I had a knack for it and everything. And then I started helping my friends date women and talk to women. And then it snowballed into me actually helping women out because a lot of women started asking for my help. And what I did first was I did some YouTube videos one night, and I put them up, and then a whole bunch of people started emailing me from those YouTube videos, and I started writing articles for different websites, and then that turned into a book, and then I had a website, and then it just kept going from there. So it kind of just happened like that, you know?
And you're not actually a certified dating coach. You're a self-taught in the trenches dating coach?
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. Now, you said that you've been featured on VH1 and MTV and Fuse and TLC and ABC Family and the Tyra Banks Show and Anderson Cooper. So how'd you get on all those shows? Did they hear about you and they reached out to you, or how'd you do that?
It was a little bit of both. Like I was on certain reality shows. I was on different talk shows, and some of them heard of me, some of them I contacted, and then they put me on their shows and everything. And it's been good too because, you know, it's just for the public to also see me and just to reach more people with what I do and them seeing me out there doing certain things. You know, it helped out. So I think it's good that I, you know, went that route to really get it out there. I actually want to do some more, you know, like that. I want my own talk show in the near future. You know what I mean? So
you go. So you wrote a book called The Magnificent 10 Crucial Dating Tips for Men. So want to share a little bit for everybody? What do you call the crucial dating tips for men?
Yeah, so those are basically just 10 tips that I put in this book. It's an ebook that I put out. It's actually a free one, so you guys can go to my site right now and get that. Just, you know, sign up. You can get that ebook for free. And I put it out just for something that guys can have as like a little manual for them to, you know, kind of like follow and really just take heed to and use that in their dating life. So like some examples, you know, I tell guys to date a lot of women, and I also tell guys to, you know, don't act like a woman's friend. Don't get in the friend zone, you know, and then different things like that.
If you're going to do the friend zone, you're not going to get in the end zone, right?
Exactly.
That was X-rated. Do not rap that Dr. Love said that.
It's true though, you know. You know how it goes.
Yeah, baby. So what else? Keep giving me some more. Lay some more on me.
So, another thing I was saying in the book was, don't be afraid of being a man, because, like, especially now in today's society, men are shamed whenever they're, you know, feeling or doing anything masculine, especially when it comes to sexuality. So a guy might see a woman on the street and he wants to check her out, and, like, people will, like, say, oh, you're objectifying her, and that's wrong, and all this other stuff. And, you know, I tell guys to embrace, you know, that aspect of themselves, because it's natural for you to want to, you know, check out women, because this is why it's a biological thing. You're supposed to be checking out women to procreate, to make the world go round. This is what happens. You know what I'm saying? So
you want to embrace your inner caveman, right?
Exactly. You got to embrace that. You know what I'm saying? And I tell also in the book, I tell guys to, you know, Two, that first date should be cheap, you know, and you shouldn't have to spend a whole bunch of money on the first date, you know, getting to know a girl. You shouldn't have to go all out with the dinner and movies and the red carpet. You don't have to do all of that, you know. So it's just like, you know, different tips for guys.
You know, because you don't want to make a big investment in the event that you guys don't have chemistry and you're not going to go past that first cup of coffee.
Right, exactly. So, you know, it's just more efficient to make it, you know, something small, nothing too extravagant, you know.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So are there other dating tips there in that magnificent 10?
Yeah, there's a couple more. There's what is another one I was saying, you know, don't I don't know if I can curse on here. I don't want to. It also says don't put. I'll paraphrase it. It says, you know, don't put the you know, the vagina on the pedestal, meaning don't, you know.
No, you can. I think it's don't put the pussy on the pedestal.
Yeah, there we go. I didn't know if I could
you
say
want to get the alliteration. You got to go with the 2 P's. Is that the real word that you used?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that word, unless, of course, my engineer yells at me afterward. I'll find out. We're going to go with that. So don't put the pussy on the pedestal. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, that basically means don't treat women as special just because they have a vagina. You know what I mean? It's like you should get to know a woman and treat her as an individual and not put her at a higher, you know, rank just because she's a woman. You know, a lot of guys go out their way to accommodate a woman, you know, it's cool to be nice, it's cool to be cordial or whatever, and all that, but you don't have to go out of your way and bend over backwards too much just because, you know, she's a woman, you know what I mean? And that messes up their dating game in the long run because they put these women on a pedestal and then they end up looking like this nice guy, and the woman doesn't really get to know who he really is because he's just like really, you know, trying to get in her good graces. You know what I mean? And it's not really a good look in that aspect. You know, and also another tip I said in the book was I was saying, you know, don't be a nice guy. Also because no guy is actually a nice guy. You know what I mean? And I explained really about being a nice guy is really an act because no guy is really nice all the time. You're not just, there's a lot of nice guys, they do everything just to make the woman feel good or accommodate her, but they might have a certain opinion or something else that they might want to express, but then they don't express it because they're like, well, I don't want to say this because she might not like it, or I don't want to do this because she might not like it. So that's them being too nice, but that's not who they really are.
Because really they're not nice. So really what you're talking about is you want to be true to who you are and not put on a performance. Because you know what Chris Rock always said, when you go out on a date, you're not meeting that person, you're meeting his representative, remember?
Exactly. It's true. It's so true.
And at what point do you become real and be yourself? But the thing is, I must take issue with this idea of women don't like nice guys. Because, I mean, all generalizations are false, obviously, including that generalization. Because the more healthy you are, male or female, the more you really do want a partner who is going to be nice and considerate and not putting drama in your life and making you feel first. And so I would say in a healthy relationship, we're both putting each other on pedestals because I really want to revere you and love you and make you feel first in my mind and heart, and I want you to do the same for me. Healthy relationship, you're both doing it, so both of you are meeting each other's needs simultaneously. That's the ideal. That really is.
Exactly. That's how it's supposed to be, and that's where people need to get it to. You know, so it's like, even though it's like you actually be nice in how you are really nice in your own self, like how you are really. You know what I mean? Like, how are you really nice instead of being this nice guy
fake
nice that you're trying to put on.
Fake nice.
Exactly. You know,
because then when seventh veil falls, it's a huge shock. So you want to be nice to be your true self, not put on a performance. That's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
All right. What else in your 10 tips for guys?
What else is in there? You know, I haven't read this book in so long, I can't remember.
Now, this is not good. I know I've had this happen when people say to me, well, what's in this book that you wrote? And I'll say, gee, I have to go back and look. But you wrote the book.
Right?
It's very hard.
Like 4 years ago. But there's a lot more stuff in there. But I suggest all guys go to my site, MrLocario.com, and download it ASAP. Like, that's like required reading for all men, you know, so that they can step up their game.
step up their game. But the idea is that you're advocating being real. Do not put on a performance. Do not act like somebody you're not. Be who you really are. And the sooner you are who you really are, the more you're going to develop an authentic relationship based on two souls connecting from their true inner selves.
Exactly. Yeah,
all right, so let's get down. Let me get down. So are you in the dating game now or what?
Yeah, well, I have a fiance.
You do?
And we've been together for about 7 years. We just got engaged last year. And so we're together, but if it happens to where I see a woman and I'm somewhere and that woman wants to flirt with me and do stuff with me, it's not a big deal in our relationship. So we have that type of relationship where it's it's sort of open but not really, it's to an extent. So
all right, wait, I want to get this. I want to get the detail here. You are engaged to be married, but you're okay with, she's okay with you flirting with other people under her nose? You're okay with her flirting with other people under your nose?
Yeah, on our own time. Like if I'm somewhere, let's say I'm on vacation, with my boys, and then I meet some girl and then we hang out. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's how our relationship is set up. Because the thing is, we started out dating where I was dating, her and she was dating me, but we were also dating other people. And then we got into a relationship because we was like, hey, we like each other, but at the same time, we still are very adventurous. You know what I mean? So we still wanted to do other things, but we set up rules in our own relationship that say, okay, this is what we're comfortable doing and this is what we're not comfortable with doing. And that's kind of like what I also teach when I, coach people, is that you have to figure out what are your boundaries, what you want to do, what you're interested in, and find people that, complement that, find people that want to do those things with you. You know what I'm saying?
You two are okay with, you two are totally okay with flirting when you're not with each other, but flirting goes just as far as flirting, not having sex with other people, just flirting.
Oh, no, it could be sex too, if it comes out of that.
That's part of your deal.
We don't date other people. I don't like...
Oh, you can screw other people, but you just don't date other people.
Yeah, we don't actually go out to the movies and hold hands with other people and all that romantic stuff. You know what I'm saying? We do that with each other. But if I'm somewhere at some party, or at a club and some girl wants to do me in the bathroom, then it won't be a big deal. You know what I'm saying?
You can have sex, she can do you in the bathroom, but you better not hold her hand or whisper sweet nothings in her ear or send her flowers. Yeah. So you are actually separating.
Some couples have open where they actually have other girlfriends and boyfriends in their marriage or, their relationships and stuff.
So you are actually separating your soul and your heart from your body. And the sex is like pipe cleaning. You don't think anything of that, but you better not hold hands. You better, right.
Yeah, it's just recreation, for us.
Well, dude, if it works for you.
Right.
All right. So listen, I'm going to take a brief break. Stay with me. We'll be back in a moment on Ask Dr. Love Radio.
You're listening to Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. To speak to Dr. Turndorf live on the air, call 888-463-6748. AskDrLove.com is the web's premier relationship advice site since 1996. Visit AskDrLove.com to search thousands of free relationship advice articles on any relationship issue you may have. Or you can submit a question to her free advice column. However, if you're listening live, why not call in? Don't be shy. Dr. Turndorf wants to help you, and this is a unique chance to get a personal answer from one of today's most respected experts. So, if you have a question for her, please call in now at 888-463-6748. That's 888-463-6748. Now back to Ask Dr. Love with Jamie Turndorf, Ph.D. Once again, here's Dr. Love.
Hello again, and welcome back to Ask Dr. Love Radio. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf. It's my pleasure to be with you. And my guest, Mr. Locario, dating coach and rap singer. So listen, before we took the break, you were explaining to me the unusual arrangement you and your fiancé have. You were telling me how you guys have an open relationship. You both can have sex with other partners, but the deal is no dating someone else, no hand-holding, no romance. So are you worried that this is going to interfere with or erode your relationship in any way?
No, actually, I think it's one of the things that kept it going, because what I noticed, in certain relationships is a lot of people break up or they get, divorced or whatever because of cheating or another person wanting to have sexual relations with somebody else. So the thing with me and my fiance was like, okay, let's be honest with each other. Like, I might be attracted to someone and want to have sex with them. You might be attracted to someone and want to have sex with them too. So let's not let that be something that's going to ruin our relationship. You know what I'm saying? So let's just add that to our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, you're assuming that having sex is something that you can turn on and off, and that is your emotions can be kept separate. But the danger in having sex is that you can become emotionally attached to someone you're sexually involved with. So are you able?
No, well, that depends on the person. See, that's the thing. And that also goes with really understanding yourself first. And that's what I was looking like, kind of understanding who you are and what you're about. Because I myself know that I can, have sex with another woman. I can have sex with 30 girls this week and not think about them. You know what I'm saying? Like afterwards, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And also my fiance, like, she's, when I first met her, she was dating a whole bunch of guys, and it was like, having sex with them, and it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? So we already know each other in that aspect of, okay, this is what we can handle. This is what we like. This is what we
you're able to compartmentalize.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And so some people can, and if you know you can't, then you shouldn't do it. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about, you have to understand yourself first, and then once you understand what you're about, then you move on to actually doing your thing. You see what I'm saying?
Whatever gets your freak on. So here's a rap tune for you. If you have sex with 2 women a day, it's enough to make your pubic hair turn gray. No. So it works for you. I always think that it's a wonderful thing to evolve to where you don't separate out your body from your heart and your soul, and that you want to move toward not compartmentalizing, so that you only have the sex act with somebody you love. And this is the culmination of the integration of your heart, your mind, your body, your soul. You don't look at it that way. Maybe you will, because you're also young, right? How old are you now?
Yeah. I'm 32.
Yeah, so maybe you'll start getting a callus on it with 30 a day. You just might, and maybe the callus will be your spiritual awakening. I don't know. So
that's the thing, like, because in every other relationship, which is not a sexual relationship, we do other things with other people. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have like one best friend. You don't have one friend that you do everything with. You have this person and that person. This person you might like to watch sports with, this other person you go to the movies with, this other person you go dancing with. So it's the same type of thing, but then you have that best friend who you do like most of your things with. You see what I'm saying?
Or then you have the person who you just do. So let me give you some tweets here, because this is my quickie segment. So it's a quickie, and I always do some tweets, and I did some tweets that are a little more like rap tunes in honor of you because you're a rapper. So here's one for you. A positive attitude creates love magnitude. Maybe you could rap that for me.
A positive attitude creates love magnitude?
A positive attitude creates love magnitude.
I agree.
And here's another one for you. It's your fault that you're single, so get out and mingle.
Oh,
and another, be real, and his or her heart you will steal.
Nice.
And here's another one for you, Mr. Locario. Don't confuse keeping it real with being ungenteel.
Yeah, I didn't know you knew how to rap.
Yeah, and here's another one. A smile never goes out of style.
Nice.
Try less attitude and more gratitude.
I love it. So positive.
And here's another one. Being yourself can take you off the dating shelf.
I love it.
All right, now here's another one.
Can I steal that one?
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to steal that one. What's the next one? Huh?
Here's another one for you. Keeping it real helps love congeal.
Wow, nice.
All right, now here's my last one from my rapper love dating coach. Ready? To be a love rapper, unwrap your heart's wrapper.
Wow. How long did it take you to come up with those?
About 3 minutes. Baby, I'm a premature tweet ejaculator. Wait a minute. They come to me very quickly. All right, I'm going to take a brief break. When we come back, I want to talk with you a little bit more about your tips for women to find Mr. Right. So I'll be back with you in a moment on Ask Dr. Love Radio.
You're listening to Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. To speak to Dr. Turndorf live on the air, call 888-463-6748. That's 888-463-6748. If you like what you're hearing, you can learn about Dr. Turndorf's techniques for turning conflict into connection and healing in her critically acclaimed, groundbreaking book, Till Death Do Us Part, Unless I Kill You First, a step-by-step guide for resolving relationship conflict. Find out more about this book and read a free excerpt by visiting AskDrLove.com. This is Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. And if you have a question for her, please call in now at 888-463-6748. This show is for you, the listeners, so please give her a call now. You're listening to Ask Dr. Love with Jamie Turndorf, Ph.D. Once again, here's Dr. Love.
Hello again, and welcome back to Ask Dr. Love Radio. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf. The name of the show today is It's Your Fault That You're Single, and I'm talking with Mr. Locario, dating coach and rap artist and actor who performs under the name of Trends. So before we took a break, I said that we were going to talk about your book, It's Your Fault You're Single, Tips on Finding Mr. Right. So tell me what's your point there?
Yeah, so basically that book is for women to understand, like, men, basically just to give them a understanding of how men think, how men operate, what they're about, how men are going to respond to you in relationships, how you should respond to men in relationships. And the overall theme of the book is letting women know that it's their responsibility to have the type of love life they want. So that's why, I titled it It's Your Fault You're Single, because a lot of times in society, women are told to be passive with everything when it comes to their dating lives, and then they usually don't get what they want because they're being a little bit too passive.
So for example, what do you think women should be doing that's the opposite of passivity in the dating world?
Basically, I think more women need to approach men and talk to men. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so for example, I was actually at a networking event yesterday, and I was talking to this lady, and she was saying, like, I'm having trouble, getting with guys, or a lot of the guys that approach me, I'm not really interested in, and I'm not attracted to. So I said to her, is there any guy in here that you're attracted to, right? And so she pointed up to this guy across the room. So I'm like, why don't you go talk to him? You know what I mean? And she's like, oh, but I can't do that. And, it's not ladylike and I'm scared or whatever. So I said, listen, just go over there and say hi to him. Just go and say hi and shake his hand. And then so after 20 minutes of trying to convince her to do it, she finally goes over, says hi to him. They get into a conversation. They exchange numbers. You know what I mean? So it's like she now talked to a guy and is excited about talking to this guy who she's attracted to, who she's most likely going to go out on a date with. And that came from her actually doing it, you know what I mean, and not waiting for things just to happen to her. You see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. You said earlier that, guys, we have to admit that men are cavemen. We can't help that men have a biologically driven urge to impregnate many women, so that's why they're always looking at women. They're not naturally monogamous. This is all the biopsychology of men. So, but men are also naturally hunters. So if we're going to go with your idea of guys admit you're a Neanderthal, you have this biological programming. Men are hunters and they are pursuers. So even though women are liberated now and we're independent and we have the absolute power to assert ourselves, the fact is men are often overwhelmed by women who dog them and pursue them. So there's a fine line between not being a shrinking wallflower, making it clear that you're interested, but then not chasing and pursuing and dogging a guy, which takes away his natural hunter feeling.
Right, but men usually don't get women who approach them, like, ever. There's guys that never have a woman look at them, much less approach them. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is that even though guys are approaching women, you still have, let's say if you have 10 guys, probably 3 or 4 of those guys are approaching women. The other 6 are not. You see what I'm saying? And then out of those 3 or 4 guys who are approaching, 2 or 3 of them are going to get tired of approaching. So let's say some guy who's approaching girls, he approached like 10 or 15 girls, and all of them rejected him. You know what I'm saying? And then he sees this one other lady, and that lady's like, oh, I wish that guy would come over and talk to me, but he's not going to talk to you because he's talked to like 15 girls already. He's tired. So if you take the initiative and talk to him, then that can be something that can happen. So even though the men still have this, instinctual initial feel to actually do it, sometimes guys get, tired of having to do all the work all the time.
Right. So the thing is, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's the same thing that guys say, I don't want to always be initiating the sex. But it turns out when we do observational research, we notice that even though we think men are making the first move, in fact, women are, by sending what I call green lights. Women have to send out verbal and nonverbal signals to men that indicate they are interested. And that if a man doesn't get these green lights coming his way, he's too afraid to actually make the move for fear of being rejected. So the research shows that a lot of times women are not doing, as you say, very clear signals so that the guy knows she is interested, I can reach out to her, and I'm not going to get my neck or other bodily parts chopped off.
Right.
Right?
I agree. And I say the clearest way to do that is to go up and talk to him.
That's like very, very good. And make eye contact and smile and be very, very clear. And what we also know is that women send out signals that are too subtle, and they pass over the guy's big head and his little head. They pass over all his heads. He doesn't see it.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, usually the guys who understand those signals are the guys who are already, good with women. And usually those are the guys who are just, out to get a lot of sex in most cases because they know they can do it. So if you're looking for a dude to for a long-term relationship, he's most likely going to be the guy that doesn't get those signals. So you need to be the one that's proactive and say, hey, how you doing? And, and at least do that. And then he'll take over after that, and y'all start getting together, talking and everything else. But, overall, I just let women know that, it's partly them making that move, but also even while they're, dating a guy, talking about what they're doing as far as what, while they're dating a dude that's keeping a guy interested. And that's, and a lot of women don't know how to keep men interested. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So tell me, if you were a woman, how would you keep a man interested?
Basically do all the things that men like women to do, which is have sex with us and not pressure us into relationships. If you can do that, men are going to love you. That's really all it is.
Men are very simple. It's like, give me sex like hot and cold running water, and don't ask me for a relationship.
Yes.
And and let me hold the remote. You have to add the remote.
Right. And then that's how you actually get a relationship, because the guy's going to say, you know what, this woman right here is not pressuring me, and she's having sex with me, and these other girls are playing hard to get or doing all these games and they're not having sex with me, or they're just pressuring me to be with them. But this other girl, she's just chilling. She doesn't care. So I'm going to stick with her. And
wait a minute. She's chilling, but she's not frigid.
Yeah. But that's what it is. I remember this one guy was talking about this. I wish I remember his name. It was other dude. He's a dating coach. He was telling women. He said, if you're dating a guy and you want a long-term relationship, or you want it to go in that direction, tell the guy that you don't mind that he's seeing other women, or encourage him to see other women while y'all are dating, because that's going to show that you're not pressuring him into trying to get into a relationship, and then that makes you stand out and makes the guy see you as, top priority, and it's really that simple. The less pressure you give, the more the guy's going to want to be with you, because men, we instinctually want freedom. So
right.
If you represent freedom, then that's what we're going to want to, that's where we're going to want to be. You see?
Yeah, right. So if you give the person freedom, then, I don't want freedom that much. Right. We're very contrary. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuit order, said, when influencing people, you want to enter through their door, but have them leave through yours.
Right.
So there,
exactly.
You go in and you enter through the freedom door. But also, there's also the issue of when you start begging somebody to, oh, please, I want a commitment, be exclusive with me, marry me, but you seem hungry and you seem desperate. And
and it's needy, it's very...
It's not appealing.
Right, exactly.
Not appealing. So, a woman, it's your fault you're single. If you are pressing for a commitment, you're not giving him sex, you're playing hard to get, that's your fault. Anything else that women are doing?
Not being responsive enough. Like if a guy calls you, call him back. Don't wait 3 or 4 days, and cause like there's this other book that came out called The Rules. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that, I think that's like the worst book ever written on dating for women. Is just horrible, and the stuff they talk about in there it's just bad, and it's those type of things that are keeping women from really getting what they want, and it's like you have to really be realistic about yourself as a woman and about how men really are, and I also explain in that book like what men really think, about women and how they, what they're attracted to, because a lot of times women don't really know what men want and what men really think, because men, we lie to women a lot because we're trying to just get in their pants. So we say, well, I figure the quickest way to get in her pants is to tell her, I want a relationship, or I want to do this, or I'm feeling this way because that's what she wants. So I'm going to tell her that, but that's not really what's on his mind. So I really try to get to the crux of what men are really about and the do's and don'ts of what you should do and what you shouldn't do.
All right. So since you're laying this out here and saying majority of men, they don't want a relationship. That's what you're saying. So how does a woman know when a guy is real and he wants a relationship, and when he's just a player who's saying he's wanting a relationship to get in her pants? How does a woman know?
No, and I'm not saying necessarily men don't want a relationship. Men want relationships too, but we want it at a different time. Like but the thing is that what men want first is fun and sex. That's what we want first. And if you're not bringing that to the table first, it's kind of hard for us to look at you down the road as something else. You understand what I'm saying? Women try to do the opposite. They're like, well, I want you to like my personality and do all these other things first, and then we'll have the sex and all that later. And it just doesn't work that way.
All right, so check this out. Check this out from a woman's perspective, right? Because if you think about the anatomy of a woman, you're taking a man inside your body. You're way more vulnerable. Even if you're using birth control, you risk getting pregnant. There's a total vulnerability thing. I mean, you think about your little penis there, or your big penis, whatever size it is. It's not attached to you in the same way. It's sort of hanging out there. It's got a life of its own. It's not as vulnerable an act for a man as it is for a woman. So when a woman wants to let a guy into her body, she starts thinking, well, I know I'm probably going to get attached to you, so I want to know if you really like me, or if you're going to be in the market for a committed relationship, because I don't want to let myself get attached to somebody who's going to love me and leave me. So this is why women start trying to protect themselves. So the thing is, it's much better to not give it up if you know that you're going to get attached to somebody. Before you get attached, you want to know whether the guy even is in the market for a relationship, right?
But that's the thing. You'll never know. That's the equivalent of, that's kind of like the equivalent of a guy saying, hey, I don't want to approach this woman and unless she's going to accept me, or hey, I don't want to take this girl out on a couple of dates unless I know she's going to have sex with me. I don't want to spend my money. You never know. You can approach a woman, she can reject you. You can approach a woman and y'all can go on a date.
Yeah, but wait a second. Wait a second. if a woman doesn't want to put herself in jeopardy, because, I mean, that's fine. If she wants to jump in and say, okay, this is casual sex and I believe that I can have sex without becoming attached. But what if the woman doesn't want to separate her body from her heart and so she doesn't want to put herself in a position where she's exposed emotionally and in all of her vulnerability. She doesn't want to do this. Guy who just wants to have sex with her and drop her. How can she protect herself emotionally?
Right. Well, she has to master her emotions. That's what I tell women this all the time, because this is the thing, you will never, ever know if the guy you're about to have sex with. I don't agree.
I don't agree. No, I don't agree with this, because it is natural for most people to find an emotional bond evolving out of sex. I know that's not what you and your fiancé are doing.
No. It's just the thing. However you feel about sex or the sexual act is personal. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not. There's no like, just because, like, a person might say, well, I feel emotional about what just happened in this thing, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is that person that was, like, let's say we're talking for women. These women have to learn how to master their emotions, because what I'm saying is that you will never know if that guy that you're having sex with is going to be there tomorrow. So you have to enjoy the actual moments that you have with this person and not be fearful of what's going to happen next, because you never know what's going to happen next.
You don't hold a crystal ball. You definitely don't hold a crystal ball. You do not know what the future holds. But if you know you want to have a relationship and you know this guy is a player who is not in for relationships, it would be nice to know that before you actually get yourself involved.
Well, the thing is that if a guy says to you, hey, listen, I just want to have casual sex with you,
right,
and you're not into that because you know yourself, you're going to say, well, I don't want to do that because I might get emotional. That's fine. That's cool. Then you don't have to deal with him, and he'll go find another woman. You'll find another man or whatever. The point is that if a woman, what women have to understand is that in order for you to find that guy who you have that emotional connection with, who wants to stay with you, you're going to most likely go through guys who are going to just have sex with you and leave. You understand? You can't.
I don't agree with that. That's what I'm saying to you, is that I am saying that if a woman knows that she does not want to separate her body from her heart and soul, then she has no business having sex unless she feels more comfortable about the relationship. And if it means that the guy doesn't want to wait for the relationship to develop, then he's not the right guy for her.
Okay, so let's say some guy.
Wait, we got to take a break.
Okay,
hold the thought. We'll be back in a moment on Ask Dr. Love Radio.
You're listening to Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. To speak to Dr. Turndorf live on the air, call 888-463-6748. That's 888-463-6748. If you've recently been through a breakup and are looking for a second chance, wondering how you can reconcile with your ex, or if it's even possible after all you've been through, Dr. Turndorf's latest book, Make Up, Don't Break Up, presents her 5-step plan for reconciling with your ex. This plan was developed out of years of research, working with thousands of couples at her Center for Emotional Communication. This is a proven no-hype and no-nonsense method that gets right to the root of the problem to guide you to the right path towards reigniting a lasting relationship. For more about Make Up, Don't Break Up, visit AskDrLove.com. You're listening to Ask Dr. Love with Jamie Turndorf, Ph.D. Once again, here's Dr. Love.
Hello again, and welcome back to Ask Dr. Love Radio. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf. I'm talking with dating coach Mr. Locario, and we were in this very intense conversation before we took a break where, you were talking about the fact that women have to accept that there's going to be a period of time where you don't know if you're going to have a relationship. Where a guy has to feel free, and you got to be willing to walk that knife edge. You don't know. You're risking the possibility that he just may be he may not want to have a relationship, and you just have to go for it and just live in the moment and take a chance. That's basically what you're saying.
Exactly.
Right. I'm amending that. I'm amending that because I'm saying that because it is natural to emotionally fall in love with someone that you physically give your body to, that even though you have no guarantees, that if you know that this person that you're with is not even open to a relationship, don't expect that sex is going to cement a relationship bond. You could end up using your vagina as a negotiating tool, and you're going to lose. So
right, I agree that I agree with that. I'm just saying, the whole thing I'm saying is that a lot of women have this fear of, I don't want to have sex with this person because I don't want them to leave me, and I'm going to feel, get all emotional about it.
right.
The thing is, like, this is what I'm saying, you have to master your emotions, because that will happen in most cases. So the thing is that, and the thing is that a lot of women say, well, I want to find out if he's the type of guy who's going to stay with me, or who really connects with me like that. But the thing is that you will never really know until
You don't know.
it happens. Yeah, you won't know.
You don't know. I mean, even if somebody says, yes, I want a relationship, you don't know if this relationship is going to work until you actually take the risk, go down the road, and see how it goes.
Exactly. And
there are no guarantees. It's a fact.
Exactly.
But there are things that you can do to protect yourself, and that is, don't jump in the sack too fast till you get a better sense of the person, whether there is a good shot at compatibility, whether the person is beyond a player. You can do some due diligence.
But see, I don't agree with that. I would agree that you should jump in the sack only because you want to jump in the sack.
That's fine.
That's what I'm saying. You having sex should have nothing to do with your expectations of a relationship. You understand what I'm saying?
I know that's your philosophy. I don't agree with it, but you're entitled to your philosophy, because I think of the definition of culmination, and culmination means bringing to completion or fruition. And so the sex act is the culmination of a connection, a relationship. You're not looking at it that way. That's not how you're doing it. You're separating sex from a relationship. So it's a completely different paradigm.
But my point is that how does that woman then get that relationship that she wants so bad while holding back the sex? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you're taking part of what that relationship will be, or that relationship is supposed to progress into, away, and then trying to get that relationship. That's the part that doesn't really make sense to me, because it's like you're saying, well, we're going to get to know each other. I want to get to know if we're connecting, but how am I going to know if I'm connecting with you sexually if sex is not happening?
Right. We don't know that yet. We don't know it until I know if we're compatible in other areas. Because if I find out that you and I are totally wrong for each other, what do I need to get myself all hot and bothered and make myself emotionally and physically naked to you when we're not right for each other? So why even go there?
Right, but how are you going to even get to that point when I'm not there because you're not having sex with me?
See, because it's a totally different way of looking at it. Because there's other aspects of compatibility besides just physical compatibility, right?
No, I agree. But most men are not going to continue to see a woman if they're just talking. We could just be friends then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's what I hear you.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that if a woman wants to have a relationship with a man, she can't let her fear stop her from being sexual with him. But just because she's fearing,
because we may not have a relationship, right?
Right, and this is what I'm saying. You have to master your emotions, because if you get emotional about a man leaving you after sex, that's something that you have to master, because then now you're going to be in constant fear of, I don't want to have sex with him because what if he leaves? And then by you thinking that energy is going to be in a relationship, and it's not going to get any further, because he's going to be like, well, this woman I'm dating, she's not really, there's no sexual chemistry. We're just talking, we're just having conversations.
I hear what you're saying. It's a whole different way of looking at the whole experience. I come from a different perspective. That's not, I was married for almost 30 years. My husband and I had crazy chemistry, chemistry, crazy for each other. But we didn't have sex right away. We got to know each other first. It was obvious the chemistry was there.
But what year was that, though? This is what I'm saying. This is a new
That was 1772. I don't think the year has anything to do with it. It has to do with just how you're approaching your thing.
It has everything to do with it, because women nowadays aren't the same women from back in the days. It's not the same thing. So, and
that's
that
what
also,
you're saying. Mm-hmm.
That also correlates to how men react to wanting to be with women. There's groups of men and movements of men saying, hey, we're never getting married to women ever. This is going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is what I was trying to say.
So listen, you could have sex with them, and it doesn't matter then if they leave you the next day, because it's fine. Because it doesn't matter.
I'm just saying, if a woman wants a man, she has to get with the program. That's all I'm saying. It's just that simple.
Well, that's okay. We have different, and I think it's okay for a woman to say, listen, I don't have to put my body in jeopardy if I don't feel comfortable with the guy, if I'm not getting the right vibe, if I don't feel that he's beyond a player. You don't have to do it, because if he's a player and he doesn't want a relationship, he's not going to be anything different after he has sex with you. So you're allowed to also make a decision for yourself that this doesn't feel right, you know?
But why is her body in jeopardy, though? I don't understand. Like, what do you mean?
Oh, yeah, well, you have a vagina and then get back to me.
No, but I'm saying, like, because I've met hundreds of women, you know, and even with some of my friends where they had sex with us, you know, right away. So it's not like there's a difference between something being impossible and something happening just because you're choosing it not to happen. So it's not impossible.
Let's agree to disagree. And then how about we move on to another topic, because we're in a completely different, we would call this a philosophical mindset that's different. So let's just move on. Okay, so here, I want to know, so this is another thing I wanted to check with you on, because I thought it was kind of funny. You wrote a book, How to Have Sex with 2 Women a Day.
Yeah.
Two women a day. That's one of your books. So tell me about that book.
Yeah, so that book is mainly for men usually, and also like the target audience for that is like young guys between about 18 to about like 30, you know, like guys who are in a stage of where they want to have sex with a whole bunch of different women.
Really?
So so I give them like tips on how to, like, you know, build a number of different women that they have access to in order to have sex and go on dates and stuff like that. So it's just basically like a guide to give the men to increase their dating options.
You mean their sex options?
Yeah.
Just to improve the odds. So are you writing a sequel, How to Have Sex with 30 Women a Day?
Oh, no.
No? You're keeping it at 2?
Keeping it at 2.
Because if we do 30 women a day, then we got to have a sequel and keep the callus away, you know?
Exactly. There's not enough time in the day for that. I don't know.
And the callus. And then there was a product for calluses called New Skin. And so this would be the new foreskin product, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To handle the callus, right. You had to be there. So now tell me some other stuff. You said you have some new projects that you're working on. What you got going on?
Yeah, so actually I have a film which is based off of my book, It's Your Fault You're Single. So it's called It's Your Fault You're Single. So it's a short film based on that book, and it's coming out later this year in the fall. And I also have a new book coming out called What's Good. So that's my first motivational, inspirational book about happiness, about enjoying your life, and, you know, stuff like that. So it's so what are you talking about in that book? Because that's like the tradition of what we call positive psychology. That's what we shrinks call it. So tell me about that. Yeah. So basically, it's talking about like understanding who you are, loving your life, and I talk about the right way to think positive, how to see things from different perspectives, how to actually just be happy and talk about what happiness actually is, because a lot of people, they're thinking, you know, you have to pursue happiness. Like, I hate the phrase of the pursuit of happiness, because it's like you can't pursue it because happiness is within, you know what I mean? So it's like,
is.
Right. So it's something, it's a book just talking about, you know, those aspects of your life and actually appreciating your life and appreciating the moments you have, you know, because I think a lot of people don't, really appreciate what's going on in their life. And the reason why I called it What's Good is because, it's about what's really good in your life. What's really good right now? Because, for example, somebody might come home from work and they'll be like, oh, the traffic was horrible and my boss did this. And then I'm like, okay,
right.
That's cool, but what's good? What's good in your life right now? What happened to you that was great today? You know what I'm saying? Let's not focus on the negative.
So you focus on the negative and then you're in a bad mood. You focus on the positive, and, you know, it's like if you bow, you feel reverent. If you smile, you feel happy. And, you know, also if you truly focus on being in the now, it's very correlated with happiness, because when we live in the past, we're miserable. And when we futurize and worry about what will be, we're anxious and miserable. But if we're in the perfect present, that's what I call it, this is the formula for happiness. So tell me something. Can you rap just like that? Like if I ask you to do like a rap on happiness, can you just make up a rap tune on that?
Oh, just like freestyle or something?
Just like what?
Right. No, you're talking about like just freestyle off the top of my head?
Yeah, freestyle.
Yeah, I can do something. All right.
Come on, lay some happiness rap on me.
All right. Check it out. Yeah, it's your boy Trends, a.k.a. Mr. Locario, as I flow on Dr. Love. About to get these rhymes from I don't even know what to say. Today is Tuesday, and I'm on the radio. Every time I go off and on, we talking about happiness. It's inside. It's so wide. Every time you see it, you got to get it. It's in the present. It's not in the past or the future. I'm just saying.
That's very, very cool. So now, tell me, I love that. Do you have it when you do most of your rap tunes? It's not freestyle. You kind of memorize it, and that's the way you do it.
I write it down because I'm like I have like mixtapes out that I've done, and I put it just online and stuff, and it's gotten over like 200,000 downloads in the past couple of years, and just put them out for like fun, because I used to rap a lot, and the thing was I wanted to, my goal was to be a rap artist, but then I got turned off by the entertainment industry as a whole.
Yep.
I was racist, so I kind of like did my stuff just independent. So I was like, look, I'm gonna just do this.
You're an anti-rap.
Right, just put it out and
an anti-rap. So rap me out. We got 1 minute left. Rap me out with Mr. Locario, dating coach rap. Give me a rap that will wrap the show.
All right, so what? Some more freestyle?
Or if you want to give me one that you actually wrote down and you have memorized that's fine-tuned, okay. I'd love to hear it.
Oh, I can't give you the memorized one. It's too raunchy. But I'll freestyle. I'll freestyle a little bit. Okay, check it out. I'm chilling here in NYC. I'll be the lyrical MC. I am what your girl wants. I flaunt everything so nice. It's like I got ice. Now I'm lying. I'm not trying. I'm just freestyling off the top of the dome. I'm at home right here just chilling on the Dr. Love show. It's so ill. Me and her disagree about a lot of stuff, but it's okay. She's tough. I like her. She's so cool.
You're pretty cool yourself. I'm really glad you came on my show. I wish you all the best, Mr. Locario.
Yeah, thank you.
See you next week on Ask Dr. Love Radio.